Okay, we're back on the morning brew. Amber, we're having fun?
I'm just sinking into the couch over
it's
here.
Friday. We're
like,
just sort of.
oh, I gotta wake up. Okay, yeah. I'm on. Woo.
Good thing this segment has a kick to it.
Da-dum-bum.
It does.
Yes.
We're going to introduce you to Marla Wood. Marla is director of KIIC. You want to tell us what that acronym is, Marla?
Sure. It's the KIIC Ideas and Innovation Center, which is established in order to help arts entrepreneurs with business resources to help them figure out the business end of their art.
Good. It's a real need in the arts community.
Absolutely. My undergrad is in theater, and I spent 4 years nose to the grind in hours and hours and hours of rehearsal and classes and training and all sorts of training opportunities designed to work within my artistic capacity. No one ever taught me how to read a P&L. No one ever taught me how to budget or how to price or market myself. Those pieces of the puzzle are hugely important for arts entrepreneurs, those people who want to take their art and actually make a living out of it.
And that art and commerce piece, it's very, very difficult to make it mesh.
Absolutely, absolutely. And particularly if you don't have those skills, if no one's ever taught you, the KIIC Ideas and Innovation Center is actually an outgrowth of KIIC Dance Company, which is a long-standing organization here in Albuquerque, who's done lots of great work. Perhaps you've heard of the Nutcracker on the Rocks production that we do every year, the rock and roll version of the Nutcracker. KIIC does lots of different programming, working within the juvenile justice system, within the Title I Homeless Project. We have classes that are now reaching about 1,000 students a week, which is fabulous. But the cornerstone of all of those programs is mentorship. We have a paid company of professional contemporary dancers, to my knowledge, the only one in the state where they are paid full-time to be dancers. And those folks are hired not only for their artistic skill, also for their character, for their ability to mentor the students, the community members, and the rest of our programming. And so for us, it seemed a very natural outgrowth to go from mentoring individuals to mentoring businesses. If KIIC had an opportunity like the KIIC program when we were young 18 years ago, we might not have had to have learned so many lessons through trial and error.
Exactly.
We've learned a lot, mostly by figuring it out on our own. And so we are happy to be able to share some of that knowledge using some of our community resources and volunteers to help other artists be more successful with perhaps a little less error.
What's the first thing you teach artists?
Oh gosh, tons of stuff. Probably the very first piece is if you don't value yourself and your art and your time, no one else will either. So much of the time we have artists who are so passionate about what they do that they just want to do it no matter what. That's great, but if it's actually costing you more to create your art than you are pricing it to sell, this is a lose-lose situation. You're not going to be sustainable doing this. So it's very difficult many times for artists to be able to value their work because to them, it's almost it's so valuable that you can't put a dollar amount on it. Yet if we don't start nailing down some of those structural pieces about value, then you're not going to be able to make a living doing that.
There's a great rendering of a facility here.
Yes.
I want to have our director put that up on the screen.
Wow.
Look at this.
So this is at 4121 Cutler Avenue. It is actually a building that was purchased about 1.5 years ago. KIIC received over $1 million in investment from the Federal Economic Development Administration, from Bernalillo County LEDA funds, from the state of New Mexico towards the purchase and renovation of this building. That's what it was originally, that bright orange paint on it.
Oh, that orange thing.
Some folks might remember this as the old Duke City soundstage. There's actually a soundstage within the building.
Is there?
It's 30,000 square feet. When we complete, that is a rendering, when we complete renovation, there will be 7 studios in addition to the soundstage, which functions as a full black box performance theater for artists here in town and for events. And we'll also have 14 offices. Some of which are available. 7 of those will be available to kickstart companies who will be in residence in our incubator.
I love it. So you have some workshops coming up.
We do. We offer workshops specifically geared towards arts entrepreneurs at least once a month, typically the second Tuesday of the month. We've done quite a handful of things. We've done marketing workshops. We've done fundraising for those who might be in a not-for-profit scenario. We've done business plans. Upcoming, we have social media, a workshop on how to connect, for artists to connect with their customers in social media. And then the workshop after that, that's October 14th. And on November 11th, we have a workshop on fraud. You know, as a small business person, it's really easy to slip into the hands of some ill-willed fraudsters. And so we're talking about some tips to help avoid that.
This is fascinating.
It is. I had no idea that they were doing so
I
much
didn't either.
business development. How did it go
Indeed.
from a dance studio, contemporary dance studio, to just this leader in our economic development here in Albuquerque?
Well, I think a great piece of that has to do with recognizing that arts is really about economic development. Within the state of New Mexico, there's so much art and culture industry going on. Recently, the Department of Cultural Affairs and Secretary Gonzalez specifically commissioned BEBR, the Bureau of Economic Research from UNM, to do an impact study on the economic impact of the arts in the state of New Mexico. Amazing numbers. 1 in 10 jobs in the state of New Mexico is in the arts and culture industry. Which is incredible. We don't think about it, but if you stop and think about the museums and the theater and the cultural art that is made and sold here, and it's not just Santa Fe. One of the really interesting things that came out of this report, in my opinion, Dr. Mitchell was presenting, many rural areas have very high percentages of arts and culture in their economy. And during the Great Recession, when so many folks were losing jobs, you know, in what we think of as the more job-related fields, they were falling back on these kinds of cultural arts as a social safety net to actually ensure that their families were still having an income. It has a huge impact on our state. It's $137 million in tax revenue, in state and local tax, that comes in every year. 5.6 billion, that's with a B, economic impact in the state. So when we start looking at that, $1 million investment from economic development is a strong investment, absolutely, and one that will definitely garner a return. And we're really excited to be part of that.
You're a brilliant lady.
Oh,
Thank you for sharing this
so
information with us, because I think it is, what you said was so valuable. It's going to resonate with me forever as an artist. I feel like what I do here is an art form.
Absolutely.
And we do need to put a value on what we do. We cannot, I mean, it is hard to recognize that when you're an artist. You're just used to just giving it away. But we have to recognize that we are valuable and that we should be able to get paid for what we do and what we bring.
For sure.
And not be afraid to ask for that.
It's our goal to take starving out of the artist's title.
Yes. All right. Marla, yeah.
Look at you guys.
Awesome.
Marla, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
Morning Brew, Clan Tinker. It's going to be a circus in here in just a minute.
We're going to be juggling.
We'll be back in a second.